morning, good people. Good morning. Wake up. Thank you for being here with Ray G, presented by Bets TV. It is Friday, September 24th. I woke up this morning at 6. I was late. No workout. I'm going to do it after this. Thought it was damn Saturday. I was like, man, is it the weekend? It's been a long week. And after the events that occurred last night, I just throw Thursday night football away. I mean, good grief. I don't even care who won, who lost. Christian McCaffery. People, good morning. Lindsay, Stone, Zach, appreciate y'all tapping in every single morning. And my co-host, producer of the show, Jay Rich, how you doing this morning, baby? Oh, I gotta let you in. My bad. Come in. What's that?
There we go. Here. What's going on, man? Happy to be here. You know, I'm wearing my Boston jersey, so if you just give me 2 minutes, because big series for the AL East. Big series. I'm fucking excited for it, man. And I know you had to go copy me, put on your Tatis jersey. I mean, it looks nice. I'll give you that. But very excited. AL East battle, Yankees, Red Sox in Boston. If you're not a baseball fan, please tune in, Ray. You tune in this weekend. It's going to be a great series. And then the Yankees play the Blue Jays next week, Tuesday to Thursday, I believe, for another series, which is probably going to determine the AL wildcard. So super excited for this weekend and next week. It's going to be big for baseball and kind of the start of that MLB postseason life that I'm going to be rolling into all October.
All right, man. I mean, I'm pumped, man. I'm a fair weather baseball fan, so I only pay attention during the playoff time. But yeah, I saw you with the Boston jersey on, so I had to go pull out my Tatis jersey. Hopefully, he could win that NL MVP. You said he's gonna lose it, but I still got faith in Swag.
He's on track
to
lose it to Bryce.
Yeah,
to Mr.
Bryce Harper.
Hopper.
That throw he made, 82 miles an hour on a rope, and you were like, he didn't even try. Bryce Harper is nuts, man. But Thursday night football, the Carolina Panthers, Houston Texans played. It was close the first half. You know, the Texans played strong, but the better team prevailed, which are the Carolina Panthers. As Zach said in the comments, the Carolina Panthers, unfortunately, both won and lost that game because they lost the best, one of the top 5 players in the NFL in Christian McCaffery. Then they also lost their first-round pick, the fantastic cornerback out of South Carolina, J.C. Horn, the first defensive player drafted in the draft. Looked like an Achilles, ACL, non-contact injury, but I guess it was reported that it's a broken foot. So I guess that's better. I'm no medical professional. I guess that's better than an Achilles. I don't know. You know, Travis Etienne broke his foot, and people are really concerned over the. So was it the Liz Frank injury, or do we not know that yet? It's just been reported as a broken foot.
Yeah, we don't know the extent of the injury yet. But yeah, a broken foot will heal. An Achilles injury could linger, right? So as much as we don't want to root for one injury over another, broken bones always heal. Where Achilles ligaments, they can have lingering effects, arthritis, all those things. So if he broke a bone in his foot, chances are it will heal, maybe some surgery, but he will get back to 100% eventually. Where Achilles and ligament injuries, we don't really know all
What's
the time.
the timetable for Horn? Do we know how long he's going to be out for?
No, we don't know yet because we don't know what type of injury it was, kind of what's it broken his foot, whether it's a midfoot sprain like it is with the Liz Frank injury. We're not too sure yet, but hopefully he's not done for the year, but potentially he could be when he kind of stepped on it, you saw that he called for the trainers right away.
Yeah, right away.
Come here. So that was kind of the fear initially with the Achilles. They thought he knew right away he was done, or he was at least very hurt. But we'll see. It'll probably get reported today, but probably the latest by Monday what's going on with his injury.
So other takeaways from that game, Sam Darnold looked really good. You know, it's amazing what a better offensive scheme and some weapons around you can do. And I think after this game, there should be no question that DJ Moore is the Panthers' go-to guy. He's the wide receiver 1, their biggest, most explosive playmaker outside of Christian McCaffery. And I can only imagine that his uses continue to creep up. He went off. I mean, he was targeted. He had 8 for 12, 8 catches on 12 targets, 126 yards. In the first drive alone, I think he had 4 or 5 receptions in the first drive. Just picking up chunk yards. So you definitely see the rapport with Sam Darnold and DJ Moore. And that goes back to Sam Darnold's time at USC. When he was there, locked onto his number 1 wide receiver, and he fed him the ball early and often. Carolina did a decent job protecting Darnold. He didn't play flawlessly, but he looked a hell of a lot better. So Sam Darnold on the up and up. Maybe in Dynasty, a cheap buy low candidate. He probably gets a little extension after this season. They're 3-0. And I don't care. I don't care about the teams that they beat. I know it's, the Saints. We still don't know. Jury's out. The Jets look bad. Texans don't look good. But all you can do is play the teams that are put in front of you, and Sam Darnold is answering the test, answering the questions on the test, and he's doing really well. So Darnold, 304 yards, 2 rushing TDs, maybe a sneaky buy low quarterback in Dynasty that may have a little bit of longevity. Talked about DJ Moore going off. Terrace Marshall, I think it's very clear Terrace Marshall should be used as the wide receiver too. Robbie Anderson, all the narrative around the connection with Sam Darnold in New York. Again, once Sam Darnold looked on the other side of the field and saw there's a guy named DJ Moore there, all sort of rapport goes out the window. Like, I need to throw to that guy. Joe Brady knows it. Matt Rule knows it. Robbie Anderson, to me, I mean, he's a desperation play at this point. He's not getting the targets. He's not getting the looks. He's not getting the yards. I don't know. Unfortunate. They just gave him an extension as well. Maybe he gets involved in the offense a little later. But Terrace Marshall would be the one I would look for. And don't sleep on Tommy Tremble, the athletic tight end out of Notre Dame. He was billed for his physicality, pass blocking, but then we saw him be a little dynamic, right? Scored a rushing touchdown, caught another, I think it was like 20-yard pass, 30-yard pass. I think we might see a little more Tommy Tremble getting on the field over Ian Thomas and Dan Arnold. So if he's sitting out there on your waivers, if you can get him for a cheap pick in Dynasty, I think Tommy Tremble's future is bright in Carolina with Joe Brady. And we saw Joe Brady when he had a tight end back at LSU and Thaddeus Moss, who's a big part of that offense. So I think we're going to continue to see Tommy Tremble get worked into that offense. Now, let's go to Houston, Jay. And if we're going to be honest, they didn't look bad. Again, the story of Houston is they're not good, but they're not dog shit. You know what I mean? They're not good, but they're not terrible. They're not a terrible team. It was frustrating because early on, it looked like they wanted no part of Davis Mills throwing the ball. 0. It was just run. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 10, run. 3rd and 8, run. And then when they finally let him throw the ball, he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good. I mean, that strike to Anthony Miller in the end zone, big time balls right there down at the goal line. Everything gets tighter, and he was able to diagnose the defense, put a solid pass in there. He hit Brandon Cooks working outside the pocket a little bit. The NFL speed, it was only his 12th start since high school. Rolling out, he's got to get his timing better. But for a rookie third-round quarterback with limited college experience, playing on a short week against the best defense in the NFL, 19 for 28, 168 and 1. Now, there was a bogus incomplete pass that should have been a fumble. I mean, I honestly have no clue. The NFL officiating this year has been dreadful. Like, they've got to improve that. Like, that was egregious. That was egregious. I saw somebody say that we in the fantasy community use that word egregious too much, but that was egregious. Davis Mills, he did not look bad. I mean, did he look bad to you?
No, I thought he looked pretty good. And more importantly, like you talked about, especially at the end of the second half, that 2-minute drill where they were kind of forced to let him just unleash and throw the ball, he looked really, really good.
He did.
And at that point, I was like, why are you still trying to run the ball? Like, it made me think they're not trying to win the game. They're just trying to survive this season. Because he looked way better when you finally put him in a spread in gun. He looked great. But when you had him in the I formation, handing the ball off, running play action, like, it just didn't make sense. Like, I get that, you want him to learn these things, you want him to improve, and he looked okay. But when you actually he was standing there in gun, flanked with the running back, receivers out wide, he can survey the field quickly, make his decision. He looked much better, much more comfortable, especially when he was doing that, which makes sense. These are the kind of offenses that these quarterbacks come from in college. So to do that in the NFL, yes, they should be more comfortable. But if you really want to win a game, and a game that was very, very close, they should have had him in gun and just let him honestly air it out all day long. He didn't throw a pick. He was pretty accurate. He knew to find Cooks. He threw a couple passes to Miller that were a little bit off, but a few that he could have caught as well. I liked what I saw from Davis Mills, and if they keep starting him going forward, I think they could maybe eke out a couple of wins if they choose to play to his strengths instead of to how they want to play, which is a 50-50 split run to pass.
Yeah, listen, I'm not sitting here declaring Davis Mills the future quarterback in Houston. That's not what I'm doing. I don't think you're doing that either. But again, for a rookie third-round quarterback with 11 total starts from his high school senior season to his NFL debut, 11 total starts all the way through Stanford, to come out there on a short week versus the number one defense in the NFL, hats off to Davis Mills, because I thought he played very well. And he did some things that were positive to where I will not fade Brandon Cooks regardless. I think that the takeaway is Brandon Cooks is quarterback proof. And Evan said it best. Mills looked like a very good NFL backup. Like he did. And
100%.
Very good NFL backups have some value in fantasy, right? Because when you have injuries to Tua, when you have Big Ben that's not playing well, if he gets benched, like you may have to roll one of those guys into your starting lineup. And while you never feel really good about it, what he put on wax last night gives you a little bit of, okay, he got some extra time to prep. I don't know who they play next. Houston's probably going to be down in a lot of games, so they're going to have to score to keep up. I was impressed with Davis Mills' debut. I was impressed. Brandon Cooks matchup proof, quarterback proof, 9 for 11, 112 yards, and we talked about it before the show. I think it was the first drive. They tried to get him on the screen. Brian Burns knocked the ball down. If he catches that, he probably picks up 20, 30 yards on that play because it was blocked very well on the backside. Brandon Cooks he's just great. Smashed this over. He's really good. Anthony Miller, 4 for 20. Touchdown. I saw Ryan McDowell tweet something out that the trio of Mark Ingram, Phillip Lindsay, and David Johnson combined for like 16 carries, 36 yards. Yeah, nothing on the ground for Houston. But the real takeaway is, what do we do now? I mean, are you all in on Chuba Hubbard? Do you want Royce Freeman? Do you kind of not want any of those guys? Where are you at with this care? And they ruled CMC out early, and then they showed him walking to the locker room. And it wasn't like very slowly. It was not a brisk walk. It was not a, damn, I just got hurt, I'll be back in a couple of weeks walk. I am no medical professional, but I have strained a hammy, and that thing, if you don't heal it, it lingers, man. I mean, we've seen that with OBJ. He missed 4 weeks his rookie season. Tyreek Hill, every season it seems like at some point there's a hamstring injury that pops up with him. I mean, are you all in on Chuba Hubbard? I mean, we just did this with Elijah Mitchell. They did give him the work, man. They gave him the work, 11 carries, 52 yards. They gave him 5 targets, 27 yards. We know at Oklahoma State, he was a 2,000-yard rusher as a sophomore. Where you at with Chuba, man?
I'm iffy on it because at the beginning, he looked like he wasn't playing that well. And then towards the end, he kind of got comfortable.
That's your countryman. That's your countryman.
I know. Alberta's finest. I forget what actually city he's from. But the thing with Royce is that he was getting in the game more than I hoped for, right? And that's why I think he's going to continue to be used a little bit. So I don't know how serviceable Chuba will be overall. Royce is a little bit bigger too, so he may get some of those goal line carries that we want in fantasy, especially for the Panthers who are looking good moving the ball. But I do like Chuba, and I thought towards the end of the game, he really showed that he can finish the game. You know, he was finishing drives. He got them down to the goal line for that second touchdown. And on top of that, he closed out the game. You know, it's only getting 10 yards, but they know you're running the ball. And you got to run the ball. You got to go between the tackles. He got 6 yards, and he got another 5 yards. Game was over. It only took 2 plays. So that, to me, was encouraging, right? They didn't give it to Royce, the more experienced back who, you know, has played in the NFL for many years, who's used to running out a clock, blah, blah, whatever. And then as well, I think he's the highest rusher all time at Oregon. So again, very experienced running back. But I think with Chuba,
number 6, he's number 6 all time in NCAA history in rushing yards.
There you go. Royce Freeman, experienced running back. But about Chuba, I think I'm going to temper expectations for now. I want to see how they're used. So we'll see. I wouldn't be running to the waiver wire, dropping all my fab on him because Christian McCaffery will probably be back. If it's a grade 2 strain, I believe it's 4 to 6 weeks. So he could be back for the back half of the season. Yeah, not great either way. He's probably going to miss at least 3 weeks and probably anywhere all the way to the season if it's a grade 3 strain. Grade 2 strain, I believe, was 4 to 6 weeks. Grade 1 is 3 to 5. So he's probably going to miss about half the season.
They're going to put his ass. They're going to put him on IR, huh?
Yeah, he'll be on IR, and then we'll see, you know, when he comes off of that. But yes, that's where I wouldn't be. But I wouldn't be running to grab Chuba because I don't think we know exactly how it's going to play out. He is the backup for now, and that offense is pretty good. But Chuba wasn't the best at getting those tough yards.
Yeah, man.
So look, Royce going forward.
I'll just say I don't want either of them. I don't. I think it's going to be the Sam Darnold show. I think they're just going to throw it on. I think it's going to be. I think it's increased usage for Terrace Marshall. I think Sam Darnold, Tommy Tremble, Robbie Anderson to a degree. This is just 2 years in a row, man. Like, damn, dude. Like, I'm really getting to the point in fantasy where RBs don't like. Say what you want. I just and I know a lot of people are like receivers get hurt just as much and as frequently as running backs, but it doesn't feel like it, man. And when you invest that early draft capital in a running back and they go down, you're just like. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you're
done.
Doomed. You're done, man.
You're in trouble, man. If you have CMC right now, you are in trouble. That's why you draft Derrick Henry. He's durable.
All right, man. Let's get into that. Let's get into it's a good segue. I literally still have a headache thinking about Christian McCaffery being hurt, man. That shit just pisses me off. What game are we talking about? Colts, Titans? Where's that at?
It's not even on that. It's not even on that one. No, it's on the other one.
Well, where's it at?
It's on the other half of the graphic because we had to skip it.
I thought we were done with that.
No, this is the one game that's not on there. So Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans. Tennessee's favored by 5, and the over-under is 48 points. But no props for this game right now because Carson Wentz injury. He is a game-time decision. He's kind of been trending towards playing all week long. I don't know what to kind of make of this situation, whether it's Jacob Eason. They're talking about Jacob Eason getting reps at the starter. They're talking about Brett Hundley getting reps as well. So they're kind of splitting reps right now in practice. Carson Wentz potentially going to be the starter and play. I don't really know what to make of that situation. I don't really think I want to go after anybody. If you want to play Michael Pittman, I'm fine with it. But I don't really want to target this game from a betting perspective unless you want to go after the Titans. The Titans last week, they put 33 points on the Seahawks. The biggest stat to mention, whether you saw it or not, against the Cardinals, they only ran play action on 11.6% of passes or percent of plays. But against Seattle, they reverted back to their 2020 pace of 31.1% and dropped, like I said, those 33 points. And shout out to Matt Harmon for tweeting that out. So we may see more of the same. A lot of Derrick Henry, a lot of play action. Julio Jones had 100 yards. A.J. Brown looked okay in that game. So I'm expecting the Titans to put up points on what I kind of view as a decent Colts defense. They didn't look great against Seattle. They looked a little bit better against the Rams, but I think Tennessee's going to be able to put numbers on them. So I like it from that perspective if you want to go after Tennessee, especially not knowing if Wentz is playing. I would still, I think, take the 5 even if Wentz was playing. But if Wentz isn't playing, probably only makes those odds even better. But as far as props go, I'd probably stay away from it. I don't really trust it. Maybe you go after Derrick Henry. He'll have a great game. But outside of that, I would just kind of stay away from this game altogether. It's not one that's going to be great, and I think it could probably be a blowout in Tennessee's favor.
Carson Wentz stinks.
He does. He's terrible. I don't get the love with him, man. Like the amount of times this guy, people talk about how Winston is a YOLO quarterback. Carson Wentz will throw it over his head. He'll shovel pass it to a defender. Like,
well, he's not even just that, man. He's YOLO, crazy, and then he's scared to throw the damn ball. Half the time, he just holds it. Like, I don't know what happened from, I think it was the 2018 season where he was going off MVP style and then hurt his knee or, whatever it was he broke. Mm-hmm. He just ain't it, man. They need to, they better draft a quarterback next year or trade for one. Find somebody, bring in Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know, but Wentz is terrible. I mean, no props out right now. I just double-checked. There's nothing really to talk about. Tennessee -5. I'm teaser. All I'm doing is teasers with the spreads. I hit big with the teaser last week, so I'm teasing every team by 7.5. So I would do that and give Tennessee, what is that, +2? Just don't lose Tennessee.
I think you have it +1.5, right?
+1.5 for Tennessee. Bet? Yeah, give me that. So that's what I'm rocking with. Zach said, funny how Goff looks like he might last longer. Like, legit. Wentz is terrible, man. He is terrible. All right, so now could we use the sheet? Got Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Cincinnati +163 on the money line. Pittsburgh's favored by 3.5, which seems kind of high for me. No Deontay Johnson. We still don't know if TJ Watt's playing. Their offensive line is terrible. Big Ben is terrible. I mean,
is Deontay confirmed out?
Dude, he hadn't practiced all week. He hadn't practiced one time. And Edwin from Fantasy Points said that over like the past X number of years, like there's only a small percentage of players who had like 2 DNPs to end the week that actually suited up. So I think we can just go ahead and assume that that Deontay Johnson is not going to play. Both teams, like you said in the show sheet, they have not been impressive. Pittsburgh can't move the ball. They can't run the ball. Joe Burrow's not confident. He's going to throw intercept. This might just be an ugly game. And now T. Higgins, isn't there a report that T. Higgins is trending towards not playing?
Yeah, he's been struggling a little bit. He was banged up in game 1. Same
Dude,
thing happened in game 2, and no props for him right now.
I hate football. What do we do? We're week 3.
Baseball, baby. October's coming. Don't worry, I got you.
Damn, man, I got a headache right now. No T. Higgins, no Deontay Johnson, CMC hurt. What are we doing in this game? What do you like?
So, one prop that I did kind of like a little bit is the Jamar Chase number, 59.5 receiving yards and 4.5 receptions. That should be more than doable. And the other number that I like is Joe Burrow under 35.5 pass attempts. You would get that at -120. Burrow hasn't thrown the ball more than 31 times this season, and they've been heavily relying on the run.
I like that.
As we talked about last week, Joe Mixon has had 20 carries in each of the past 2 games. His number this week for carries is 17.5. So I don't hate it. You got to get to 18, which is more than doable. But I am a little bit fearful that the Bengals kind of abandon the run a little bit against the Steelers. But we'll see. You could get Mixon at 15.5, then 16.5. This week it's 17.5. But he's hit it. He's hit that number every week, so he could probably hit it again. I just don't know if I want to go after it at 17.5. But I like Jamar Chase at 59.5 receiving yards. 4.5 receptions. How do you feel about that one? I'm kind of iffy on it.
If T. Higgins ain't there, I love it. I love all of this. If T ain't playing, I love it.
Yeah, if T's not playing, then definitely makes a big difference. I don't have Tyler Boyd's number.
Yeah, what's Tyler?
It's probably a better number.
Yeah,
Tyler
Tyler
he doesn't
Boyd.
have a number because T. Higgins is out, right? So it's kind of hard. But I would go after Boyd probably because his number's probably gonna be around 65 yards, even with Higgins out, and he's gonna be the focal point of the offense. And Chase will have to face top coverage, so it'll be rough for him.
Well, let's talk about Najee, man. What do you listen? Love Najee. I'm with you. Not today, Najee. Not today, Najee. 64.5. He's only hit 45 yards is his season high. That O-line is bad. I think I even underestimated how much he can do without having an offensive line. I mean, 45 is his high, and he's had to work his ass off to get all 45 of those yards. All 45 of them. He's had to work very, very, very hard to get that. And now you eliminate one of your best weapons on the outside. Ben looks – I'm not even – he looks like a shell of himself. I'm almost considering –
he looks terrible.
Would they be better with Dwayne Haskins right now? Would they be better with Dwayne Haskins? Would they be Ben looks in this whole veteran preferential treatment. He's a Hall of Famer, so we got to keep starting him. He's a liability, man. His elbow is cooked. He can't move. But the offensive line is bad. I'm taking the under on Najee. Love you, Najee, but I'm not in this week over 64.5. Even against Cincinnati, I'm just not in.
Yeah, no, you nailed it, man. To further your point, both Dalvin Cook and David Montgomery only had 61 yards against this same defense. So it's not the beatable Cincinnati defense you're used to. 2 running backs that I think are probably better than Najee Harris, have better offensive lines than Najee Harris, only get to 61 yards against his defensive line. So I just don't see how it's going to happen for Najee this week. And he hasn't even come close to that number so far this season. The Raiders defense is good. Bills defense is good. But so is the Cincinnati front, man. It's better than people want to give them credit for.
All right, we got Arizona and Jacksonville. Arizona is favored by 7 points over under 52. We already know. We know Jacksonville. We don't know them, but you know that they're not very good. And we know that Arizona is pretty good. Kyler Murray, the hype this week has been Rondale Moore, which means I fully expect 3 for 25 game out of Rondale Moore this week because we're pumping him up to the moon. But right now, they're only props out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And these are the 2 top fastest paced teams in the NFL in terms of seconds to snap. So they get up to the ball. They want to snap the ball. They want to go. And this, like you said, comes down to the Cardinals pass rush. If we're going to see them go crazy like they did week 1 or week 2, it's going to get ugly real quick. And can Jacksonville find any type of momentum? Laviska Shenault was kind of questionable with a shoulder injury. Looks like he's going to play. Marvin Jones appears to be the number 1 receiver in that offense. Maybe Visca seems to be the one that has the better chance to score a touchdown because he's running the ball in the low A-dot. And then T-Law, he's throwing for a lot of yards outside of, the first week he threw for a lot of yards. But his over-under total right now is at 254.5 and 1.5 passing touchdowns. Are you interested in any of the Jacksonville props?
Um, I'm not really. I kind of wanted to go after Laviska Shenault because of how KJ Osborne played against the Cardinals, but I just don't think that Urban Meyer is smart enough to look at that game and say, you know what, we have a guy who can do something similar to like that out of the slot and implement it with Laviska because he's talented enough. I just think he's going to keep running his same bullshit offense week in and week out. We don't know what to expect from them. Marvin Jones' number, 63.5 receiving yards, 4.5 receptions. Don't mind the yardage. I think he can get there, especially against Arizona. They'll be playing catch up. DJ Shark, I want to get back in, man. 53.5
You
yards.
love DJ Shark. I don't know why.
I do. I love him
I don't know why.
because he's a good receiver. But his 25% catch rate doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why he only has a 25% catch rate. Yeah. But Viska, again, beatable. Arizona has been beatable in the slot, and that's where Laviska will obviously play. So I think there is opportunity there, but whether or not Urban Meyer will take advantage, I'm just not confident in that. But if you want to take a shot at 51.5, I think
that Arizona defense is going to cause problems. J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Isaiah Simmons, Budda Baker. We're going to see. We're going to see what Trevor Lawrence has in this one. But, again, no props for Arizona. Kyler, Rondell, DeAndre Hopkins, Chase Edmonds. In deeper leagues, maybe Max Williams, Christian Kirk, start them against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put up a lot of points. Is this at home or in Jacksonville? It's in Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville.
Good warm weather that lends to a lot of points, man. Let's go. I'm all in on Arizona. Again, 7.5 point teaser pretty much makes this game a pick 'em. Arizona just needs to win, so I'm there with the Cardinals. Now let's take a look at the Jets and the Broncos. And Denver is now favored by 11. When I got in on this game, Denver was favored by 10.5, so the line has moved just a tad bit. Denver on the money line, nothing, minus 617, over under 41 points. Low-scoring matchup dominated by a very strong Denver defense led by Patrick Surtain and Von Miller. What are your expectations for Zach Wilson? Man, it's just been a brutal go for really all rookie quarterbacks to start this season. This is murderer's row right now. And now Zach Wilson goes off of Bill Belichick in New England to Vic Fangio in the Denver Broncos. What are you thinking here?
I think Zach Wilson's going to be in trouble, man. It's not looking good for Zach Wilson. At FTM, we have a stat called possible sacks, which are sacks allowed plus QB avoided sacks, and the Jets are dead last with 15. It's going to be rough. Yeah, it's going to be rough. There's going to be a lot of pressure in his face. I mean, we know that. We saw that in the two games. I don't know how he's going to have any time to throw the ball. Like, it's going to be bad.
And this is, you can find this on FTM Fantasy, right? The advanced stats, ftmfantasy.com.
Yeah. It's one of the advanced stats presented by FTN Data. This one was under the passing statistics, or this is actually, under the O-line stats. But yeah, possible sacks is just one where you factor in a QB who rushes as well. So like Kyler Murray is really bad for avoided sacks because he's always running a lot. So he's dodging a lot of defenders, but that number is a little bit higher for the Arizona Cardinals. I believe they're fourth in projected sacks. But for Zach Wilson, he can run, but those defenders are going to be up his ass all day long in his face. Yeah. No Bradley Chubb, like we talked about, he's out. Yeah. But there's still going to be plenty of defenders rushing the hell out of him all game long.
All you need is Von Miller. You got a pass rusher, and you got an elite cornerback in Patrick Surtain. But I am interested in Michael Carter. His over-under rushing yard prop is 28.5. He had 59 last week. He looked like the best running back the Jets have, so I expect him to start to get more work. If I were going to take anything, I think the over on that. Elijah Moore over-under 34.5 receiving yards. Probably going to be the game script for him to get that. And he had, I believe, 43 last week, 48 last week. And Corey Davis as well. I fully anticipate Surtain to be on Corey Davis. I mean, Davis is a veteran, but PS2 looks really, really good. I think it's just going to be a rough game for Zach Wilson. Back-to-back rough games for Zach Wilson. Teddy Bridgewater, low-key, has been balling this season. I mean, if you are a late-round quarterback kind of guy and you got Teddy Bridgewater, you have not suffered at all because he is getting it to his playmakers. He looks very good. 243.5 passing yards for Teddy B. I like the over on this. Javonte Williams, we're seeing him getting increased workload out of the backfield. More carries last week. He actually looked good. I had him as a stock-up candidate on my rookie report that I drop on my YouTube channel, so check that out. And then Cortland Sutton, man. Cortland Sutton thriving without Jerry Jeudy. I mean, he had 250-something air yards last week with Teddy Two Gloves. Now it's over under sitting at 65.5. Who the hell from the Jets is going to cover Cortland Sutton? Like nobody. Nobody. Cortland Sutton should hit this total. And it's right now it's at minus 114. So you will probably want to parlay that with some other props. But yeah, as Zach said, Javonte Williams' breakout game is incoming. I think this is the game. It's the third game of the season. Unleash the rookie beast. Let him do his thing. And this team looks like a wild card team right now. You know, we're 2 games in, but strong defense, offense that can control the ground game and beat you through the air. This is looking good for Denver. I'm very impressed with the product that the Denver Broncos are putting on the field this season. Do you like Cortland Sutton over 67.5? Just real quick. Do you like that?
Absolutely. He went for 150 last week. He can do it this week.
Yeah. All right. Miami versus the Raiders. No Tua. We got Jacoby Brissett. And we've got one of the leading candidates for NFL MVP after 2 games, and Derek Carr. Darren Waller, John Gruden, Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow. Not sure if Josh Jacobs is playing in this game or not. I know he's the report that everything was hurt. He missed last week. Kenyon Drake started. But the Dolphins are allowing pressure on 43% of their dropbacks, which is 10th worst in the NFL. And Max Crosby and this Las Vegas Raiders defense is coming. I mean, they're getting after the quarterbacks. They look good. Raiders look like they're for real. So do the Dolphins have any chance in this one? I see you got another possible sacks stat here for us.
Yeah, hell no. This is like a perfect storm of just awful for the Dolphins. Not only are they starting their backup quarterback, but the Raiders have a very good defense, at least through the first 2 weeks. Again, possible sacks. The Dolphins are at 14, just behind the Jets. The Raiders are 4th in QB hits with 12, 2nd in hurries with 43, only behind the Carolina Panthers and the Los Angeles Rams. It's just a perfect storm for, man, it's going to be bad. Like, Jacoby Brissett is a semi-mobile quarterback, but really he's a statue out there.
Yeah, so he's a statue, bro.
You look at those possible sack numbers, and Tua is a quarterback who can avoid sacks the same way Zach Wilson kind of avoids sacks, the same way Kyler Murray can kind of avoid sacks. But Jacoby Brissett is not going to be as lucky. If he's getting hit, if he's getting pressured, he's getting hurried on 43% of dropbacks, it's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad. And the Raiders are 2-0 against the spread. Dolphins are 1-1. This spread is only 4 points. You know, when we heard about Tua being out, I bet the spread 2 units. I bet the money line 2 units. I'm all in on the Raiders this week. I think it's going to be an easy win for them. We're going to see, you know, that Miami Dolphins defense. I'm sure they're going to be motivated to play, knowing that Tua's out. But it's just one of those situations that if Jacoby is not ready for this game, he is going to get his ass lit up all game long. There could be picks. There could be sack fumbles. It's going to be bad because there's just going to be so much pressure in his face all game long.
Let's see if they have anything for Josh Jacobs. I'm seeing if they have any props. Nothing for Jacobs. Did they have any props? He was what?
So he was a non-contact, right? So he was in a non-contact jersey, I believe, yesterday. So he was at practice, but he wasn't practicing in full, not practicing with contact. So there is a small chance that he plays. I didn't find a whole lot of props for this game because I
got some. So what are your thoughts on Myles Gaskin, man? The dude had 5 carries last week. We thought he's going to be the top running back. Listen to his rushing yard totals: 39.5, 9.5 rush attempts. Like,
I think I'd still take the under. I still think I would, man. I don't see a situation like you look at all these numbers, right? And yeah, they're more geared towards the passing game, but I mean, what did Najee have? 35 on 12 carries last week.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I just don't know. And especially when you talk about if the Raiders get up, they're going to have to pass. They're not going to be afforded the time to throw them out to run with Myles Gaskin. So I would kind of abandon Myles Gaskin props and all hope this week.
I think what we listen 2 games in. What we want Gaskin to be, especially in fantasy, there's probably a reason why they said that they were targeting a running back in the 2nd round right before Denver drafted Javonte Williams. I would probably, just my fantasy advice, I'd probably be shipping Gaskin away. Like, I would probably get out. He is not going to be a long-term starter in this NFL, like as a starting running back. I'm not going to say he's not going to be a serviceable running back, but the dude is not going to be a bell cow back, man. Like, outside of injury, and I mean, look at the backfield now. He's in a backfield of Malcolm Brown and Savon Ahmed, and he can't command the touches, man. It's just like the information is right there.
He's sharing touches with his old college teammate again, and Malcolm Brown.
And he's not. I have no words. Let's see what Jalen Waddle. Does Jalen Waddle have anything? Does Waddle have any? Okay, so Waddle's receiving yards 44.5, 3.5 receptions over under, long reception of 19.5. You want any of that?
Maybe. I guess maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you want to think that Jacoby can hit him for a couple deep passes late in the game when it's already over.
Did he get hurt last week? Like he was stuck at 6 for 48 for the longest. I don't know if he got hurt or not.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't watch much of that game. I saw them get down early. I was like, yeah, I'm not watching that.
Yeah, I mean, they got beat down. So I mean, I don't blame you. All right, where are we at now? Tampa Bay,
yeah, the good
and the
games,
Rams.
thank
the
God.
Good games, yes. Tampa Bay is now favored by 1. I got them when they were the dogs by 1. Like they was +1. Now they're -1. It's just flipping back and forth. Over under 55.5 in this matchup. This is the one we want to see, right? Like this is the game of the week in actually Dallas Phillies game of the week.
No, this is the game of the week. No. Get your homerism out of here.
It's not. It's Monday Night Football. Dallas, Philadelphia take command of the NFC East. One potential playoff team, one playoff team in Dallas, one team that's pushing for the playoff in Philadelphia. Dallas, Philly is game of the week, but this is a close second. So let's talk about Tom Brady and Matt Stafford, because this is one that we really want to see. 2 of the best offenses in the league versus 2 of the best defenses in the league. Tom Brady over under 301 passing yards, 2.5 passing touchdowns. Right now, love the passing TDs over Tom Brady passing TDs. No Antonio Brown in this matchup, which just means more work for Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Rob Gronkowski. Tell me what you like about those pass catchers.
I like Chris Godwin. I think Chris Godwin is a smash play. I'm curious your thoughts on Jalen Ramsey, whether you think he travels with Mike Evans, but even if he doesn't, Chris Godwin's going to be the guy in the slot. He'll play a bit outside. We'll see a lot of Gronk. We'll probably still see a lot of Mike Evans, but with no Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin is going to be a target machine. That's just going to be Brady's guy, man. Brady targets the slot receivers more often. He will throw the ball deep to Mike Evans, but he's also going to be hitting Godwin up the middle on seam routes, on posts, out routes, all that stuff. Godwin's just the more polished receiver, in my opinion. Maybe other people will disagree.
No, he is.
I think he's smash play. 71.5 yards. I think this is more than beatable. He'll probably see double-digit targets. Gronk will see a heavy dose too, so I'm sure he'll hit his over. The only guy I'm not sure about is Mike Evans, and I don't even want to look at his number because if he gets Ramsey, he may see nothing. And so at that point, it's like I'm not even going to go after him. But Chris Godwin, 71.5 is a smash play for me. I love Chris Godwin. I think he's really rounding into form. Looked good last week. Obviously, week 1, he looked spectacular. And I believe he led the team in targets week 1 as well with 14. So I fully expect to see more of the same and what I project to be a massive shootout. 55.5 still seems too low, and I want to take the over on that number as well.
Yeah, and then you talked about Gronk. You can go Rob Gronkowski anytime TD plus 115. I mean,
again,
he got
4 TDs this year.
Yeah, 4 TDs this year, and I don't think it's stopping. And the reason why, man, it doesn't seem like they really trust any running back right now, whether that be Ronald Jones. I just Tampa Bay wants to throw the ball. That's what they want to do. They want to air it out, and they run the ball just enough to keep defenses honest, but not enough to really make you fear it. Like, Fournette's going to get his carries. Ronald Jones is going to like to give Brady's arm a breather, but I'm with you. I think it's I'll say this. I would take the over on Chris Godwin's receiving yards before I take the over on Tom Brady's passing yard total. I would take Tom Brady's passing touchdowns. I like Mike Evans to score TD. I like Chris Godwin's over. And anytime Gronk TD, I would take that as well. So let's move to the Los Angeles Rams, Matt Stafford. 299.5, 2.5 touchdowns for Stafford. And then you got Cooper Kupp, one of the best receivers in the NFL early this season, or hell, the best. 81.5 receiving yards, 6.5 receptions. And then Robert Woods, 63.5 receiving yards, 5.5 receptions. What's up with Kupp? What's up with Woods? Talk to me about Stafford. Shout out to Brooke Cromer, who flexed on us with her Rams Super Bowl. She's just I just got this hoodie, Mr. Rams hoodie, when I went to the Super
Whatever.
Bowl, and yeah,
No big
flexing on
deal.
us. But yeah, follow Brooke Cromer. She's a very, very dope analyst, very sharp. FTN, good hire. Go ahead, tell me
Yeah.
about these cats.
So I like Stafford. 299 passing yards, so needs to hit 300. I do think that's a very beatable number for him. We know Stafford likes to air it out, and I think playing against Brady will really force the Rams to stretch the field more and more. They're going to have to keep up. They're going to have to score a lot of points. They know that going in. And as well, Darrell Henderson, I don't know if he's getting in full practices right now, but I know that he was banged up, and I haven't heard a whole lot of reports about him, Ray. I don't know if you've heard anything or want to look that up right now. But not a lot from Henderson. So
I don't want to look it up right now. Actually,
are we really going to see Sony Michel run the ball even 10 times this week? No, we're not. We're going to see Stafford airing it out. We're going to see those receivers getting involved. Cooper Kupp, 81.5 receiving yards. Give me the over. 6.5 receptions. Give me the over. He's been spectacular this season. There's no reason to not stay in the flames with Cooper Kupp. All reports have been favorable. The game scripts have been favorable. What you've seen on the field has reinforced everything that you've heard. There is no reason to go away from that. It's not even the highest total on the week. Against Stafford, 300 yards, minus 114, 2.5 touchdowns, plus 170. Love all those numbers. The one number is Robert Woods, 63.5 receiving yards, 5.5 receptions. What the hell is going on with Robert Woods, and why isn't he getting the ball? What is going on with this guy? He's super talented. We've seen it year over year, 1,000 yards, I believe, in the last 3 seasons. And for some reason, Stafford does not want to throw him the ball. I can't make any sense of it right now.
He's got his rapport with his guy, man. He's got 8 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown on the season. That's what Woods is working with. So the probably the good bet. Here's the thing: if the game script is going to go nuts, right? If these players are going to go crazy, it's going to be a high scoring game, over 55.5. Somebody other than Cooper Kupp has to catch the ball. And if Darrell Henderson is out, I think that's increased usage for Tyler Higbee. Maybe you take a shot on an anytime touchdown from Van Jefferson. I see right now you can get Sony Michel just to score a touchdown at plus 250 at PointsBet right now. So 2.5 to 1 for just Sony to score a touchdown in that game. And I don't know if Henderson is playing or not. I'm not sure. I did not look it up. But, you know, I'm with you. I'm staying in the Cooper Kupp flames. I'm not getting out of those. I'm taking the overs on all of those until they don't hit. And if the make your bets tell a story. And if the story is a high-scoring matchup, then, somebody other than Kupp's got to catch the damn ball. And it's probably going to be Woods. I'd like to see what Higbee is at. Let's see if Higbee has anything. Tyler Higbee, receiving yards, 42.5. Over. If you go to over 4.5 receptions, I mean, maybe they can exploit them with the tight end. We saw Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin do well versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we saw Kyle Pitts have 73 yards. Now, Higbee is not Kyle Pitts, but they're kind of susceptible to the tight end. So you might be able to catch some lightning in a bottle with Tyler Higbee, who has been very involved in the Rams offense early this season. So sort of a quiet surprise there with the Rams. But this is going to be a really good game. The second favorite game that I'm looking forward to this weekend outside of Dallas, Philadelphia, which should just
You're ridiculous.
It's not going to be a good game.
It'll be a fine game, but it could be either way. It could be a good game. It could be close. It may not be that high scoring. This game should be the game that we wanted last week out of Dallas and the Chargers. This should be the high scoring game in SoFi. Star power, Tom Brady, Matt Stafford. It's like all the stars colliding for a massive game. It'll probably
there's a lot of stars in Dallas as well, including a big star on the field. So I think that is truly game of the week. All right, we've got Seattle versus Minnesota. Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Tyler Lockett. You talk about staying in the flames. You got to stay in them Tyler Lockett. You got to stay in those Tyler Lockett flames, man. And real quick, Evan just said Van has been getting some looks there. Yeah, Van Jefferson, sneaky buy. Go get Van Jefferson on the low because people still don't like him. But Seahawks, man, let's talk. What are we starting with? You got a lot of notes on this one, so go ahead.
I know. This is a game that I had a lot of fun researching, and so I'll just make the quick comparison. Seahawks played Tennessee last week. Tennessee is a great offense when they run play action. You know who else has a really good offense when they run play action? The Minnesota Vikings. They have an elite running back, Dalvin Cook. They have 2 great receivers. Very similar game script, really, when you think about it, for the Vikings in order to beat the Seahawks. They already have the template last week that they saw by Tennessee. If they just implement the same type of style, I think they could easily put up a lot of points in this game, and that's why I think this game could easily go over. But the one little caveat for me is really, how does Russell Wilson get used? Because we haven't seen him throw the ball that much. Mr. Limited is what I titled this graphic last week, and this hit easily last week. He only threw the ball 31 times in a game that went to overtime, so make that make sense. I don't know. And they lost, of course. But over under 36.5, this is really tailoring towards his stats from last season. Last season, he hit this, I believe, 9 of 16 games. But this year, he's over 2. He's not even close. He's only thrown the ball maximum 31 times, kind of like I talked about with Joe Burrow. And I just don't see it happening. So the main reason why...
I'm going under this. He ain't throwing the ball 37 times.
So to give you guys some context is that he's been under on this prop two games in a row. But last time he played the Vikings, he went 24-32 for 217 yards, 3 touchdowns. This game was 26-27 for the Seattle Seahawks last year. But the main difference is that Russell Wilson is averaging 11.1 yards per attempt, which is by far the highest of his career. His career average is only 7.9. Yes, this is only a 2-game sample, but when you're averaging 11.1 yards per attempt, your attempts are going to go way down because you're throwing the ball more downfield. You're getting those chunk plays. And so he's not going to have to dink and dunk and throw the ball short anymore. He's just throwing it deep. He's running play action really well. Tyler Lockett is on another planet right now. So just keep throwing him the ball and you're going to be just fine. But yeah, under 36.5, I think it's going to happen again because Minnesota's going to be able to keep up. But I just don't think that Russell Wilson's going to throw the ball that much because they've been so efficient on offense. He's just not going to have to.
Yeah, I'm with you. And speaking of Tyler Lockett, 73.5 receiving yards. Patrick Peterson, Hall of Fame defensive back. No, man. Pat P was getting beat like a drum, worn out like a wet rag. It was bad for Pat P last week, and I think it's not going to get any better with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. This is I'm taking the over. I'm going the over on the receiving yards on Tyler Lockett. What do you think about DK Metcalf, 74.5?
I'm iffy on it. I like it. And he talked about how he was actually talking about this week how, some defenders have been getting into his head. He needs to make sure he's calm. People are going to talk shit to him, but he can't react. He can't bite. He can't fall for their tricks. And he said that's been kind of a problem for him. I don't believe he's hit that number yet this season. I know he had, 64-ish yards against the Colts. And he didn't have a great game last week. Yeah, he's been doing okay, but we're waiting for that explosion. But it could come against the Vikings, right? It definitely could. I just don't think I want to take that number, especially when Lockett has a lower one. I'm very confident in that Lockett number. If you want to go after DK, I'd probably go after his longest reception. It's probably sitting around 23 or so yards. That's one that he has beat a lot in his career. So let me see what that number is.
I'm pulling it up for you.
25 and a half. 25 and a half for his longest reception. That's a number you want to go after if you want to go after DK because he looks really good. Evan's talking about P-Pat, lockdown DK. I don't know. We'll see. It's another year, more experience for DK.
Pat P has been getting his ass worn out early. Like, he'd been getting worn out.
He's served his time in the league, right?
He's getting worn out.
His time is coming for sure, but he hasn't looked great. And I think that DK could definitely take advantage on a long bomb. And Tyler Lockett is Russell Wilson, not hesitant to throw the ball deep as he did to Tyler Lockett pretty much all year.
All right, what about Jefferson and Thielen? Jefferson had a touchdown. Jefferson's been solid. I think he hadn't had that big blow-up Justin Jefferson game yet, but, week 3 last year is when he started to cook and started to turn it on. They just got a really good passing attack. These two, now you add KJ Osborne in as the third receiver. They've just been really good. And then you still have one of the best running backs in the league. Kirk Cousins has been cooking quietly. He's throwing for a ton of yards every single week. This should be a good game. I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm excited to watch this one. I'm not excited to watch Chris Carson run in mud once again, but that's what we're going to get. He looks like he's trying really hard to run, and it's commendable. But let's talk about last game. All right, cool. Look at that. Starting earlier in the week, we've got more time to talk about these. Green Bay, San Francisco. Is this the week we see Trey Lance? Does Trey Lance play?
Wow,
because the Packers may put it on San Francisco, right? They may come out hot, put it on San Francisco, riding high off of that Monday night win versus the Lions. Is this the week we see Trey Lance?
Oh, man, I didn't even think about that until you said it.
Come on, baby.
Come
on.
You may be onto something here.
Okay.
You're a smart guy. You may be onto something
I
here.
am.
Because if they do get down, Shanny will not hesitate. He
I
will
don't think
not
so.
hesitate. He will not hesitate to put in Trey Lance. And who knows what Trey Lance is going to do? Maybe he's going to put up 300 yards and run for 100 yards and save the game. I don't know what's going to happen, but I fully expect this to be more of a defensive game. I think Jimmy should have no problem moving the ball against this Green Bay defense. They haven't looked good in the first 2 weeks. Jared Goff moved the ball on them. We saw Jameis Winston absolutely obliterate them with that game plan. I think that they're going to have no problems. The biggest thing is the running backs. We don't know who's going to be playing running back. We saw they're picking up running backs to the practice squad. Elijah Mitchell may not play. JaMychal Hasty's definitely not going to play.
Not playing.
Trey Sermon is a maybe.
Yeah, he's practicing in non-contact.
Probably going to play.
Yeah, he's probably going to play.
He had the concussion, right? So he's dealing with the concussion. Sermon looks like he's probably going to play. If he's the lead back, I still don't know if I want to start him because the Green Bay run D is actually pretty good, even though they didn't look that great last week. Or sorry, last week they looked great, but they didn't look that great against the Saints, who have a great offensive line. So we'll see, right? But are you expecting this game to kind of go over under 50 points?
Nah,
I don't think so.
I don't. Not with how San Francisco's playing offense. If it's going to go over, they have to completely overhaul their philosophy. They're not getting Brandon Ayuk involved. They're not getting George Kittle involved. If I'm Green Bay, I know this sounds crazy, without any running back of consequence in the backfield, I say, Deebo Samuel, you're not going to beat me. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm going to make you come off of your first read and find Trent Sherfield or find Mohamed Sanu or find Brandon Ayuk or find George Kittle. I'm going to make those guys beat. I'm not going to let Deebo Samuel yak me to death. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm pressuring Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it could get out of hand. I think we could see Trey Lance. Now, the lines that I do like in this one, Devontae Adams over 85.5 yards. Smash that. The San Francisco cornerbacks and their defensive backs are actually pretty good with Jimmy Ward, Jaquiski Tartt. They're not bad. They're not bad, but Devontae Adams is like the surest bet to get targeted. And he's running those deep routes. They're going to get him the ball. Aaron Rodgers will YOLO at least one or two to Devontae Adams throughout the game. So I'm taking 85.5. The over on Devontae Adams, 7.5 receptions, a little, I don't know about that, but you can get plus money for him to score a touchdown. I mean, plus 100, 1-to-1 payout for him to score a touchdown. I would probably bet on that. Aaron Rodgers, where's he at? 271. 271.
And 1.5 touchdowns.
I think you stay in the Aaron Jones reception flames. You see that they're getting him the ball on those touch passes. I don't know what Aaron Jones is. I think last week it was 2.5.
27.5 right now for the yards, and I believe it's still 2.5 on the.
Is it 2.5? I think that's Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones lock there, and they don't have his reception prop up. They have
they don't
his receiving yards, but they don't have his reception prop. But I'm staying in the Aaron Jones flames, man. And in the receiving game, he's been dynamic. Even though those receptions look like runs because they're out of the backfield, they're the dump passes. It is what it is. So I'm staying in those Aaron Jones flames. And I'm just going to, for shits and giggles, let me see if they have anything on Trey Lance. I highly doubt it.
Yeah, so Evan, I don't expect Jair Alexander to travel with Deebo. It just kind of wouldn't make sense the way he's used. He'll probably just play his side.
Trey Lance, score a touchdown. Plus 450.
I don't love it personally.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just get plus 450 for him to score a touchdown. I'd throw 20% of a unit, 0.2 units on it for him just to score a touchdown.
Yeah, 0.2 units is probably about right. Yeah, that's probably about
units or 0.1, just 0.1 unit just to see if he can score a touchdown, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, we'll talk about the Dallas game on Monday. We get to talk about that all Monday. All day. Do you want to
talk about the college news quick? Because we already got Stone asking about CJ Stroud's injury.
We get to talk about Dallas all day Monday. I'm so excited.
All day Monday.
All day. The whole show. All Dallas. All Dallas.
Well, what about the recap? We got to do the recap the whole weekend. And
nothing matters. This is game of the week. Game of the week. We talk about game of the week all day Monday. Does the CJ Stroud injury signal the end of his tenure? It's a big one. So CJ Stroud, starting quarterback, Ohio State, hurt. We get to see the 5-star quarterback Kyle McCord, who 24/7 Sports compares to Matthew Stafford, step on the field. Yeah, Matthew Stafford. I am a big Kyle McCord truther. Matt Bruning is a big Kyle McCord truther. They have a pathetic matchup against the sorry team. I think it's like Akron or
I think it's Akron, yeah.
Akron. Kyle McCord is going to light it up. We're going to see a big difference at quarterback play. Is it the end? Doubt it, because coaches are loyal to their guys to a fault at some point. So I do think C.J. Stroud gets back on the field. But Kyle McCord is really good. And I think we're going to see a lot of points from Ohio State. I think we're going to see a different Ohio State team. So start Garrett Wilson, start Chris Olave, start all those dudes.
Jackson Smith and Jigma,
Emeka Egbuka. Yes.
Travion Henderson, hopefully bell cow.
Everybody. I like Kyle McCord. So, hey, good week, Jay. We made it. We made it to Friday. Yeah. We made it.
And prayers up to Jackson Dart, meniscus surgery.
Yeah, man. That sucks, man. That really sucks. And shout out to Two Gun. FTN Zone Two Gun.
Yes, sir.
100K last night, man. Faded Christian McCaffery. Started the matchup-proof Brandon Cooks. I think he had Cooks in his captain spot last night.
Yeah, Cooks in the captain spot.
Hats off to the GOAT, Two Gun, making people a lot of money. $100,000, man, off of that shitty game. Like, if I did that, I wouldn't do this show for at least 2 weeks. I'd go take vacation and not see y'all in 2 weeks. But shout out to Two Gun. Make sure you tapped into FTN Fantasy so you too can win some money. Stay tapped into Wake Up with Ray G. Stone, I see you appreciate the Michigan helmet. It's about time you acknowledged it, man. I was wondering when you were going to even, acknowledge the fact that you won the damn thing. But all of y'all, have a great weekend. Be blessed, stay safe, have fun. Make sure you subscribe, tap in, comment, like, review, and we'll be back on Monday to talk all things Dallas Cowboys and recap the rest of the NFL. We love you, man. Y'all be easy. Peace.